Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning,
Happy
goddesses.
Goddess Chat.
How are you today?
I'm I'm doing really well. Yeah. I woke up feeling, like maybe I shouldn't wear this t-shirt another day. So I decided, okay, I'm going to wear a red top,
hmm
curl my hair a little bit, put on some red lipstick, which I never do, and feel fabulous because
Yeah,
that's what a goddess does. We just do what we want to do to bring ourselves out of that, you know
yeah, the funk.
whatever. I wasn't really in a funk, but the we just had the full moon come through and all of that.
hmm
Shake
Lovely,
up. I guess
lovely
red, when
energy.
you before we came on, you said, "Oh, you're getting grounded," because I'm wearing, the red for, and I thought, yeah, intuitively, I guess I knew
Mhm.
that's what I needed to
Need some
do.
grounding.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I've been all in the emotional center. We were talking before we hopped on here, and that is also our creative center. I'm doing
Hmm.
a lot of creative expression over the last several weeks,
A
preparing for our
lot.
program that is being promoted. So there's just a lot that I'm kind of doing and doing and doing every day. And my body is reacting to all the doing. So I got put down for the weekend and asked to rest, and feel like I'm coming out the other side of that today. So grateful to be here today. And
Oh, what a retrograde thing, too.
oh yeah, so many energies. Because I
Friday
definitely
was
need
the,
my attention for
retrograde, and you,
Friday. Yep. Stop. No more. Be still.
if you don't believe in the energy of the
hmm
cosmos,
Yeah.
let
Well,
Ramona be
and
the
and
example of, oh,
yeah,
yes.
so it's interesting. We are this month we chose to work with the Muses, and this week we're going to be focusing on tools, right? So this was our message.
Right.
Journaling prompts was what we talked about in the Monday message. But there's so many tools that we can utilize, as part of this journey with the Muses. And so, Paige, I'd love to hear more from you about what you're thinking,
Right.
um, in regards to more tools that we can utilize to invoke these magical goddess essences. And I know for me, January is always a time that I lead intention setting sessions, and we talk about, that intentions are, we're just kind of dreaming into that space before the manifesting begins, right? And the manifesting begins in March, April, May, when we get into spring. We're
Right.
beginning to plant those seeds and water them, and beginning to see them giving life. So we're in winter. We're all about the pause, the reflection, the being receptive. There's a lot of R's that come up around
Yeah.
the year. And so being receptive to ideas and inspirations that are falling in. And so I think when the Muses came to be for this month, it really came to a place of acknowledging that tapping into those essences, can help us really open up our being to the ideas and inspirations that are circling around, um, our intuit and our being, and
Hmm.
and being able to tap into ways to access that is what we mean when we're talking about tools for the Muses. Is what ways can I get in touch with listening to the ideas and inspiration that will allow me to create. And that creation is whatever it is that you wish to create. It's not just music or painting or art or it's anything. I mean, like,
Yeah. Well,
creating a
these,
program, creating a yoga practice. It's all about tapping into all of that. So
yeah. Well, this week I chose to highlight journaling because that's kind of my go-to thing when I don't know, when I want to be inspired or tap into that third eye intuitive energy. I just sit down and let the pen flow. Or sometimes I like to write in pencil because it's easier for me to write. I have horrible handwriting, and I'm thinking that it is not permanent, that these ideas and what's flowing is in pencil. It can be erased and rewritten.
yeah.
And when you really don't know what to do, writing is often a good place to start because you're getting those thoughts out of your head and physically onto paper, and just that physical mind to body, they're writing it down can help. You can write a letter to your intuition, letter to your goddess. What would your goddess want you to know today, sort of thing. And because it's the full moon, I came up with some prompts that were about releasing, and or that I feel anxiety about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then following that up with, and I release it. I give my
Mm-hmm.
I give
Mm-hmm.
myself permission to release it.
Yeah.
And maybe the same thing every month you're releasing, but every step by step those things may fall away as they're supposed to. However, that's just a one way, like you were saying, to tap into this energy. And what the goddess does with the muses is that the muses just represent all those different aspects that you can tap into. And it could be art, it could be poetry, it could be movement, dance.
Mm-hmm.
I think about some of the times I'm most creative is when I go for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
physically getting my body moving, and maybe listening to a podcast or some music along the way. And the ideas and the thoughts just start coming to me, to the point I've been on a walk where so many ideas and things are coming to me that I have to turn on the notes feature on my phone and just start talking into it, because I think, well, when I get home, I've got to write all this down. And
Right.
by that time, I'm home and I've forgotten half of what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Well, and you're walking on the beach, so you're also getting that water element, which is the element of creativity as well. It's part of that.
yeah, yeah. Well, and then of course, I have to stop every 5 seconds to take a picture of something, because something's inspiring me. Yeah.
Mm.
So sometimes a power walk on the beach is not so much exercise. It's just, yeah, tapping into that flowy in and out energy. If you wake up one morning and or during the day you're just feeling stuck or whatever it is, maybe you just need to sit and breathe,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe put on some music and
Mm-hmm.
move around, move your body. What I love about the muses and tapping into that goddess energy that is uniquely you is that it is uniquely you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't force it. Don't think, oh, every morning I have to journal because that's
Yeah.
what Paige and Ramona say, or whoever. No, maybe you need to just lie down. I was watching a YouTube with a Buddhist monk saying what his morning practice was. And I was thinking, oh, he jumps out of bed at 4 a.m. and gets dressed and runs out to the temple and starts meditating. And he said, that does not happen. And I went, okay, so what do you do? So he says, yeah, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, but I lie there in my bed for a half an hour. And I just lie there and let my body kind of wake up and think about things and all that. I thought, okay, that's not such a bad idea. I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
wake up 15 minutes before I need to get out of bed and
Yeah.
say a couple prayers, whatever you need to do. Maybe it's just you get up, make a cup of coffee in a way that's ritualistic or
Mhm.
intentional,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
what you're mindful of the water you're pouring and making a cup of tea, and just let whatever is intuitive to you invoke that. And you, I think you'd be surprised.
Mhm.
And like I said, don't force it, because then that just,
Well, it's all about intuiting, right? It's all about recognizing your own rhythm, your own motivation, your own flow, right? Um,
yeah.
we talk a lot in pretty much all of the programming I do under the umbrella of Authentic Life Journey comes back to the same message. And it's listen to your heart, because your heart has all of the answers. And so many times clients come in and, oh, this thing happened and now I'm overwhelmed and I don't know how to da, 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 da. And I said, okay, I said, so I'm going to ask you a question. Did you bring your spiritual practices into this decision-making process? Or did you act on old paradigms, old ways that you were taught throughout your lifetime? This is how you problem solve. This is how you deal with the situation. This is how you do it. That was all out here, right? And as we step onto this spiritual journey, this path, and many of us have been on the path for some time, and we're just constantly collecting new ideas and inspirations and vantage points, and even with this invoking the divine goddess vantage point, this is, Paige and I were just like, you know what, I got to dive into that divine feminine a little bit more, because I have been so yang my whole life that these past 3 years that we've been working with this energy has been life changing, because it was almost like a key that was missing in my programming.
Yeah, it kind of brings you back in balance from that
Yep.
doing
Yep.
to the being. And
Right.
how am I being?
Right. So when big things happen, instead of reacting or attacking in the same way you have always addressed something,
Yeah.
where can you take pause? Where can you pull in journaling prompts? Where can you pull in, okay, I'm going to tap into this goddess energy that I know is going to help me focus my attention. This is why we talk about altars. This is why we talk about tools, is that we want you to be able to have access points to utilize this information in a way that is going to help your life feel more harmonious and balanced
Mhm.
overall. And we're going to talk about that more next week when we get into integration. But the truth is that these tools are a way for you to say, okay, this is a situation I have in my life. And it's real easy for our ego to say, this is the problem I have in my life. Instead
Right.
of, this is a situation that I get to make a choice. So I can either choose to continue to interact with the world in this way that is very yang and was educated to me outside of myself. Or I can take these tools, I can take these awarenesses, I can take this knowing that I have ingested about this energy of, okay, I'm going to work with the muses to help me find the ideas and inspiration, and to listen through my heart space, through my intuitive self, for the answers to come through. So the essence of the goddess is not there to be, I'm going to rely on you to do it for me. It's to say, I'm going to invite you into the ceremony with me to help me see the bigger picture, to help me rise above, to help me open my mind beyond my fixed beliefs of how it should be done.
Yeah, you can't solve a problem from that same mindset that created it.
Right.
And you said a very important word earlier, help.
Mhm.
We so often don't ask for help. And it
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you want somebody to tell you what to do, but that you acknowledge, I'm struggling with this. I'm not quite seeing the solution or the path. And if you ask for help from your goddess group or a
Mhm.
trusted friend where you can be vulnerable, and it's that divine feminine way, the goddess way of just mirroring and acknowledging and
Mhm.
letting the other be heard.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll have an idea, well, maybe you could approach it this way or that way, or maybe it's just you got to get it out, put it into words, and then oh, the solution comes to
Well,
you.
one of our dear goddess friends the other day and I had lunch together, and um, I've been really kind of witnessing, reflecting on the difference between the relationships I had in my teens, 20s, maybe even early 30s, versus the relationships I have chosen and cultivated over the past, let's say, 10 years. The biggest difference is that when I sit down and talk about a situation that I'm struggling in, yes, I may express this is the struggle, this is the struggle, this is the struggle, because I need to get it out. I am a Gemini. That is my way of processing, is to talk it out. So sometimes that has to be more than once. Sometimes it has to be more than one person. Sometimes I'm able to have one conversation and the light bulb goes off and I have the answer. But the difference between that conversation now compared to 10 years and prior was, the 10 years and prior was, let me fix it for you, or let me fire you up, let me encourage you to be more frustrated about the situation, instead of therapeutic conversation is the best way for me to say what I'm saying. It's more therapeutic. And not that I'm going and looking for my friends to be my counselors. It's that we are all traveling on this path of spiritual well-being and awareness and development. And we can hold sacred space for one another, to cry if we need to cry, to be mad if we need to be mad, to do whatever we need to do, or to even say, I don't know what to do. It's
Mhm.
overwhelming me. And we can hold that space for them. And then we can say, would you like me to share my thought? I have something that I would like to ask you. Is that okay? And it's not a, this is what you should do. It's a question that then invokes a observation within themselves, to look at themselves and go, well, I didn't think about it that way. And it
Mhm.
shifts the energy almost instantaneously. And I saw this happen on Friday with with a dear friend, or actually it was Thursday. And we were in a conversation and I just asked one question. And as soon as I did, it's like everything that was clouding just fell away. And there was this illumination of, oh my gosh, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's how I want to approach it. That's
And
where
that
I need
was
to get it from.
probably in there somewhere. You
Right,
were just there to
right.
help release the attachment to whatever other idea she had that
And
just
and
wasn't
so
working.
and so I envision that kind of a conversation being the same thing that we're talking about here when we're talking about calling on this goddess aspect. I'm going to
Yeah.
have a conversation with these goddesses and say, this is what's going on. And then I'm going to quiet myself through journaling, through meditation, through taking a nap, whatever,
Yeah.
going for a
That's my
walk.
favorite tool.
And then almost always, I'm not going to say always, but almost always, when I do that, my intuit starts receiving downloads of information from the divine, from spirit, from God, from goddess. Whatever words you need here, align them to you. And I receive, because I'm not in the moment of doing. I'm in the moment of resting. And it's in that rest, it's in that quiet, it's in that active intentional practice that the answers come. And sometimes
Mhm.
the answers come through the mouth of a friend of mine who says, "Oh, well, what about this?" And then I go, "Well, I needed to hear that. I just needed to hear that right now." And oftentimes I'm so spun up in whatever it is that I'm feeling anxiety about that it's almost like their words do this. It just pops me right out of the chaos that my ego mind has created.
Mhm.
It's really magical to see it happen. And so the gift here is that we can do that at any time, whether we're with our physical soulmates or we are working in co creation with the divine, with these goddess aspects. So, as you use these tools, allow yourself to remember you're actually having conversation with an aspect of yourself that has the answer.
Yes. Goddess. Ah, I hope
Oh,
you
I'm
are
so
hearing this
excited.
conversation or feeling as good as we are. Because I don't know about you, Ramona, but I'm just
Yeah.
right now.
It definitely feels like when we come into these conversations and we are when we're really channeling um, the divine through us, they definitely lighten us up and allows our day to move forward with much more ease. And we hope the same for you whenever you walk away from these chats. So with
Yeah.
that,
With
we
that.
will bid you adieu. We will
Mhm.
return next week with our final week's worth of exploration with the Muses. As all we'll have completed our first month of this new um, flow that we are working with, and we'd love to hear back from you, what you think about what we're doing, and how it's supporting you, or if you want more, or whatever. We're just really interested in hearing from you. But we're enjoying the journey.
Yeah, please share as often as you feel led to. We love everything that you all are doing and sharing, and we want to celebrate those moments that you've had an aha, like, oh, I never thought of looking at it this way, because so often we've got the same thing going on and we're thinking, oh yeah, that is a good way to approach it. Or
And
just that if you're needing help with something, we're here to acknowledge that, listen to you, and
well, and I channeled something this morning that I was like, oh yeah, and I actually posted it in next week's post, so it'll be coming again around again, but I'm going to share it now.
please do.
Um, when you share your experience, you give another the opportunity to say, oh, I see your light. And yes, goddess, me too. Me too. I get it. I am with you. I align with you. So when you share within our group, you're opening up the space for us to be in support of you and to recognize ourself within you. And that's what we're doing with these goddesses is we are recognizing ourself within these energies because they are a part of us and we are a part of them. So with that,
Absolutely.
please
Aw.
let us know your thoughts, and we hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Mhm.